Australia win by 8 wickets, and in just 6 days of cricket, they take a 2-0 lead. Bazball is on the edge of the plank.
Oh, isn't it what? And Gerard Whateley, the man you just heard call that, Brian, roared into the night air. Was that the case for you, Gerard, with an early mark in test number 2? Did you roar yourself into the night air last night?
Lads, I told you you'd be working on Monday.
Yeah, you
the
did.
pink ball test. So at least we got 4 days rather than 2. They were pretty eventful, but we knew on night 3 the direction of the game. That was the decisive session as Australia took those 6 English wickets. Just for a little while, we wondered if it was going to rush to an end then, but England, to their credit, sometimes there is merit in the way you lose, and they played with some distinction through day 4.
Now, Gerard, I've got to give you a wrap. You're a Michael Neser fan. You've said it for the last two times I've spoken to you, and now he got 5. Did he end up with 5 or 6? No, he got 5, didn't he? He's your man,
got
isn't
the
he?
5.
Yep.
Yeah, so he's the pink ball specialist now. His 3 test matches have all been pink. That's the performance he's been building towards really his whole career. He's a journeyman first-class cricketer. He's excellent at shield level. He's had a little taste of internationals and shown that he's not out of his depth. And just his persistence yesterday, and there was some excellent bowling from Australia yesterday while they had to be so patient. They never deviated. They never gave England anything unnecessary. And then the 2 wickets, the obstacles were Stokes and Jacks, and Neser got both of them just through that precision, line and length. So credit to all of them. Boland bowled the same way. Doggett was asked to do a job. Starc led the attack. Keep in mind that these are seamers 4, 5 and 7 in the pecking order. And they beat England by 8 wickets. So I think that's a phenomenal performance. I think we all should be super proud of that Australian team.
Now, waxing lyrically about you at the moment with the Michael Neser selection and forecast, Gerard, but we like to say here, praise and blame is all the same. Brian and I certainly didn't have concerns, but you had some concerns about players wearing earrings, right? And you said, Weatherald, I don't know. And we said, no. No, look, all that aside, look, he just looks very comfortable, doesn't he, Jake Weatherald? I was the person who said, can you wear earrings under a baggy green? Well, you can wear what you like, Jake, because you had an outstanding test number 2.
Yeah, he too is one whose game is totally in order and ready for this. So his first half century, he set the pace really early. Well, when Travis said it was a bit scratchy, they do look great running mates. I love them together, and I think Australia should stick with that for the medium term and see how it goes. But he's absolutely won his place for the time being at the top of the order. And then, there's sort of really good balance to it. There's the dashes 1 and 2, and then there's the insurance of 3 and 4 in Labuschagne and Smith. So I think Australia's onto something here.
Gerard, with the Stokes and Jacks, I suppose there was a little bit of hope for them. And it was the furthest thing from Bazball we've seen the last 2 tests. Will they take anything out of that? Because it actually looked like it was back to test cricket, and I thought Australia were getting a little bit frustrated. Or do you feel that on the 3rd test they'll just go back to the way they want to play?
I hope they don't. The whole point of Test cricket is to adapt to what's in front of you, and there are times to forge the game forward, and then there are times to conserve and protect and bat time. As the whole problem for England in this Test match was they frittered day 1 away. They won the toss, elected to bat. It was an absolute road, and they were 9 down by stumps, and they never should have been. They should have been 4 or 5 down. That would have allowed them to bat to day 2 to a point of having Australia in under lights. And that's the way to win pink ball cricket. Instead, they're just far too loose in their shot selection. They ram the game forward regardless of good judgment, and they've paid a big price for that. So it was good to see Stokes and Jacks actually bat like that on day 4, but it wouldn't leave me with any confidence that they will do that. They seem so wedded to this dogma, and even when their batting coach was asked about any conversations about driving on the up in Australia, which is so perilous, and he said no. And I think they're up to 10 top order wickets have fallen to driving on the up, and it's really quite ludicrous.
Now, Gerard, I was listening to the commentary team, and they were talking about the drop catches, and they were saying that that comes from being unfit. Is it a fitness issue, or is it a heat issue, or all the above?
Yeah. So I think there's a lot. I don't think you could say that this England team is finely tuned and it's not match hardened. My personal view on the 5 catches is that's having not played against the pink ball. That was the cost of knocking back the Prime Minister's 11 game in Canberra where they might have acclimatised. Is Australia play a test match every year with the pink and they play a shield round with the pink? England play very rarely. So why this team would knock back the opportunity for a 2-day practice against the pink in the lead up to the game, it was so careless. And I think it played out certainly in their fielding. I think it played out a little bit in their bowling as well, and maybe even in the strategy. You can't be so underprepared for a very specific task. It's not a mystery. It's what have we been doing it for nearly 15 years. It wasn't sprung upon England at the last minute. They didn't give themselves the best chance of it. And that's, I think, going to be one of the litanies of regret in this tour is did they give themselves the best possible chance? They're holidaying in Noosa now. I'm going to say that's a no.
Well, and the other thing is, Gerard, like you mentioned the opportunity to play that Prime Minister's game. That was also following a 2-day test in the first test. But it does, everything I read and hear about Baz himself is, and no pun intended, but it's like he's halfway down the pitch and he refuses to retreat. He's just going to keep marching down that track. And I just don't see him retreating. He just doesn't want to say to people, okay, we got this wrong. He just keeps doubling down, even to the point where, we're over-prepared. Like he's going the other way with it.
Yeah, saying it doesn't make it true. We can't know what's going on internally, but they clearly haven't played enough cricket in the lead up to it. And everyone who's ever prepared for an Ashes series has been saying that all the way through. I sort of don't mind the idea of if you have your philosophy, you live and die by it. And I think they're going to die by this one. But you are entitled to make adjustments along the way rather than, the gambler doubles down and doubles down and doubles down. Well, they're 2-0 down in 6 days of cricket. So they're on record pace for losing the Ashes at the moment. And if that is what happens, the whole exercise will have been shown to be a folly.
Martingaling's a term, Brian. The punter who just keeps doubling down to recoup.
Yep.
It's called martingaling. And
is that a person?
No.
Is there an M Garling?
No, but he's martingaling. Don't worry about that.
What about...
Not Richard Dreyfussing.
No.
Let it ride.
What's his name?
Trotter. Jay Trotter. Jay Trotter.
Jared,
Nathan Lyon. Will we see him in Adelaide?
Yes,
Yep.
yeah. So Australia were explicit about that. It was a controversial selection. They're absolutely vindicated because Neser comes in and takes those 5 second innings wickets, which is, if Lyon had played, they would have been looking for him to do something similar. So George Bailey, on the morning or the afternoon that they did it, he guaranteed that he would play in Adelaide, and that'll be a much longer test match in the way the ground will be prepared with the red ball, and the specialist spinner will be essential. I suspect he'll be pretty hungry. He was jilted by the selection. He made no effort to hide that. He stayed diligent around the team and took on those roles as the 12th man, which I liked as the test match went on. But now it's his turn. I suspect Australia will need him to take numerous wickets in Adelaide. He'll definitely be there. It feels like Cummins will definitely be there. Yeah. So there's a couple of changes to a bowling lineup that did a splendid job.
Now, Joe, you seem like such a nice bloke, and I wouldn't imagine you've got any feuds, but I call you the serpent tongue when you had a bit of a crack at Monty Panesar. What was all that about?
Oh, yeah.
What happened there?
Strayed a little bit
serpent
there.
tongue.
Yes. Well, I think it's so regrettable that the English fans, who are quite charming on this series, have decided that they're going to boo Steve Smith all the way to the middle. This is none of their business. It didn't happen against them. It's old. It's been paid for. Smith is absolutely entitled to his position, and Australian fans have a duty when he comes out to bat to make sure that doesn't linger in the air. But evidently it's Monty Panesar who's floated this idea of what they should do, and if there was ever a man to be ignored, I would put him in the top 3 in cricket.
Brian invented a term called "don't poke the bear," Brian.
Yeah. My saying.
And they're poking the bear, and it's not working for him at the moment. Yeah.
Do you feel his attitude's changed a little bit, Jerry? Like we picked it up on the mics, on the stump mics when he's having a crack at Jofra. But do you feel he's sick of all all the chance that the Barmy Army are giving him?
I don't think so. I think the two dynamics is he loves captaining as the fill-in, and he's done it brilliantly. And he's so engaged in these games. As when he took that catch to remove Jax, which is one of the best of his career, and he went rushing off like a football striker. And then I think he does enjoy the duel. So when Archer decided to trash talk him, which just was ridiculous given that the game was over, and he finally started to bowl his full pace, and Smith just mocked him verbally and then just punted him over the fence. So he won the battle hands down, but at the end his eyes were spinning. He was so far into the contest. So I don't think the external is bothering, but I think he's so dialed into building this Ashes record that he's got such a rich part of. I think he'll be the third highest run scorer in Ashes cricket by the end of this series if he continues to churn out the run. So his place is immense.
Hey, Gerard, you're far closer to the beat than us, but I was hearing something that maybe Starc, with all that he's achieved so far, may not be operating at 100%, and therefore, if that's the case, is there some chance he may be rested for the Adelaide Test?
No, not until the Ashes are won would he even contemplate that, because this is his legacy series.
Yep.
And the beauty of there is space through these first three tests. I mean, we have because of the extra day, it's, a 9-day break. So he was struggling after the long batting innings. He was cramping. I think he's wearing a couple of the war wounds just from being in the middle. And a colleague walked past him on the morning of the last day and asked how he was feeling. He said, old. And he is old, but he's splendidly athletic at the moment. I think he knows exactly his place. He's taken on the lead of the attack. He's never bowled better, and he's never been a more influential figure than he is right now. So I do, for, 18 wickets? He could push that into the 30s if he maintains the rate, but yeah, I think you'd have to chain him down to keep him out of this team at the moment.
I'll tell you what, Gerard. So I went for a walk late yesterday afternoon, and I've got the SEN app on. Get me steps up, Brian, and you've got Adam and Gerard and all the team there at SEN. We've got Tom covering the golf off. It was awesome listening. Speaking of colleagues, what has Stuart Broad been like behind the scenes, Gerard, and working with the SEN team?
Yeah, he's outstanding. Yeah. He's he's a lovely man. He's got a great way about him. I think he's a tremendous on-air talent, television and radio. I think he's got an enormous future on that front. He doesn't sugarcoat anything, and sometimes the hard thing to do immediately out from teams where you've just played is to call it as it is. But he's been the most prescient around the lack of preparation, and that bowling in the nets is not the same as bowling in match conditions. He's really disappointed that he thinks this is a better team than the way they're performing, and I absolutely agree with that. He thinks they're giving us about 20% of what they're capable of. And then as the tour goes on, if you're the visiting commentator, it becomes a hard row if the team's getting belted all the time. So I think you would like to see resistance. I noticed there was a sort of a prickly little affair with Brendon McCullum on Channel 7 in the post-match last night. He wasn't shy on asking the direct questions, and McCullum turned it back on him, which I thought was very odd. But no, he's such a welcome presence, and I think he'll be a presence in this country for decades to come.
Gerard, just on that, so they get to come here, and the Ashes is such an important game. Australia versus England, and it doesn't happen very often coming out here every 4 years. Why would you say that? Why do they think they're only at 20% of their potential? Isn't this something that it's a bit like the Olympic Games? You don't get a chance. Why would they put in such a meek effort?
There'll be theses written on this in the aftermath, I reckon, because the whole purpose of Bazball was for this tour. This was the move after getting thrashed 4-0 last time, and it just had to stop from an English perspective. The past three tours have been 5-0, 4-0, 4-0. They haven't won a test match here since 2010-11. And so, the whole purpose of this was to have a team suited to Australian conditions that would challenge, and to see them so far out of their depth has been quite shuddering. And there'll be a lot of second guessing going on, and the why will be the hardest question to answer. I think they've miscalculated their readiness for Australian conditions. I think they've miscalculated their strategy. I think the overall idea of being aggressive is the Australian way, and Australia is playing aggressive but judicious cricket. England is playing aggressive but reckless cricket and not heeding any of the history. You can't just ride roughshod over how things are here because you want to play a certain way. So, as I say, if this does degenerate to 4-0 or 5-0, everyone will lose their jobs, but it will be the introspective piece. That will be the most serious undertaking, I think.
Now, Gerard, just before you go, every week we speak to you, I have to write down a word that I'm not sure what it means. And I've just written it down. Dogma. Could you just give me the meaning of dogma, please?
It's a tenet, isn't it, Gerard?
So what is it?
It's sort of your religious philosophy that you just refuse to question or be shaken by. It's a firm belief at the resistance of all evidence around you.
Gotcha. Hence the
and
description.
that's what they're holding to.
You're dogmatic.
Correctly.
There we go.
And Brian, when you do the crossword next, if it says dogma, the answer is tenet. Tenet. That's correct, Gerard, isn't it?
Yes, very nice.
Yes.
Good movie too. I like it.
Yeah. Excellent. You
Isn't
can use that, Gerard.
Is that a Doctor Who role?
No. Gerard, thank you again, mate. It's the day after another victory for Australia, which is fantastic. Well done to you and the team. We look forward to the third test from Adelaide next Wednesday, December 17, live right here on your home of the Ashes, SEN. Gerard Whateley, thank you again, young man.
Terrific, lads. Talk to you again soon.
What, you're still here? Well, you can see more on the Joel and Fletch socials and catch us live on SEN Radio, you beautiful humans.